Welcome back, Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic slash non-classic. This is episode number 294 on Doubleshot 225. As you can see, I'm back in my room. I got back yesterday from visiting my brother. And yes, the Q&A is coming today. Just in case some of you are wondering, and why am I wearing this instead of wearing a t-shirt like I normally do? Well, because I'm going on a couple hours. That's the reason why. I'm going to an open house. Alright. First up. X-Men 92, volume, get this, 0, War Zones. Yep. Yeah, Marvel's doing this thing where a few of its graphic novel series start with a volume 0. They did this also with Howard the Duck, Old Man Logan, Weird World, A-Force, Silk, and Spider-Gwen. They all start with volume 0 before moving on to volume 1. This is the entire 4-issue limited series that came out during Secret Wars. Now, of the Secret Wars tie-ins, this is actually one of the good ones. Yeah, and there was some bad ones. This is one of the good ones. Now, this comic, unlike the current series that's being published, which, by the way, is the same creative team, by the way, this comic was released first digitally. Yes, it was the only digital first comic that was being published during Secret Wars. Now, it's written by Chris Sims and Chad Barrows with artwork by Scott Kublish. Yeah. Here's some samples of the artwork. Yeah, the story is that it's the X-Men from the 90s TV show. Well, it's called 92 because that's when the show started. The show lasted for 65 episodes over the course of 5 years. Yes. The final season was like 13 episodes long. Actually, I think all 5 seasons were like 13 episodes long, but the final couple episodes, if you watch the show all the way through, it seems like for the last 2 episodes of the series, it seems like the animation style changes like jarringly. Despite the fact it did change at the beginning, but it all of a sudden got another change during the last couple episodes. Like, what the heck was this? But this has nothing to do with that. This is basically the X-Men team from that show on Battle World. There's references to Doctor Doom. Now, this may be a Secret Wars tie-in, but it's in the background. They don't interact with any other section of Battle World. It's just them taking on the Shadow King, who is basically possessing Cassandra Nova, who it's never referenced in here, but Cassandra Nova in the regular 616 universe is Charles Xavier's twin sister, who he tried to kill in the womb. I'm not kidding. That's how Grant Morrison wrote the character. But this is only just 4 issues, and currently it's being ongoing right now. It's only 6 issues in right now, which is great. Yeah. I mean, it's just the X-Men being X-Men. I mean, this is just pure fantastic. You also get the debuts not only Cassandra Nova. Well, Shadow King already did show up on the show, so kind of yes. So you get Cassandra Nova. You get X-Force, which in this continuity, if I can find it here, is comprised of these characters. Yeah, they don't show up until about almost halfway, almost just past the halfway point. Let's see here. I'm trying to find it. Here we go. X-Force in this continuity is consisted of Archangel, Psylocke, Cable, Bishop, Deadpool, and Domino. This is the X-Force team. You know, from the 90s when Rob Liefeld, Premier of the Season, came up with. Yeah, this is this show's continuity version of this team. Now, as far as I can tell for the current comic, this is still the same lineup, so this lineup is canon. Oh yeah, they also threw in Bishop as well. Yeah, Bishop, who for some reason is part of the X-Force, despite that in the show he was a member of the X-Men for a handful of episodes. But this book is just really great. I highly recommend it, especially to people who are fans of the X-Men show from the 90s. I give this book a 9 out of 10. Awesome. Alright, next up, even though you can't see in the cover because of this flap here. Excuse me. Crisis on Infinite Earths. Crisis on Multiple Earths. Team-ups. You have it here. Flash, 123, 129, 137, and 151. Showcase 55, 56. Green Lantern Volume 2 number 40. Brave Bull 61. And The Spectre number 7. Now, here's the thing about who the writer is of these stories. All but one is written by Gardner Fox. John Broom writes the Green Lantern issue. The artwork for these issues, the Flash issues are done by Carmine Infantino. He's a Silver Age artist. He also does the covers with the right artists of the showcase issues, Murphy Anderson. Murphy Anderson also has the cover for the Green Lantern issue, Brave and the Bold. It's not said exactly who is for the Spectre. For the Spectre one, that's a backup feature for the Hourman. That's this guy here. Yeah, he gets his own solo backup feature in that particular issue. The rest of the issue is just Spectre. Yeah, all these issues come up from a period of, from the way it looks like 1961 to 1965 and 68. The Flash 123 issue, which the cover is classic. Yeah, this cover's been homaged a couple of times. They did this for Flash Volume 2, issue 123, and very recently when they did the Flash 2 Worlds on the show The Flash, they used this very cover as promotional art. The only difference is they replaced Barry Allen, well, the image with Grant Gustin, this one with Ted Sears, who was posing as Jay Garrick before he was revealed to be Zoom, and they replaced this boy with Patty Spivot. And they took out, and I think they kept the girder in the promotional image, but in the actual episode, this shot was used in the episode, but the pillow was used too. Now, 123 is a classic issue of Barry just doing whatever, and somehow he's vibrating at a certain frequency, and somehow he ends up on Earth 2, and he just knows the place, and he ends up, of all places, Keystone City, which at this point in time in DC history, there was multiple Earths, and Keystone City was on Earth 2, not on the regular Earth like it is normally today. Now, he looks up Jay Garrick because he actually mentions that he's a huge fan of his. So he finds him, and surprisingly, he does. He finds Jay Garrick, and he also finds that he is, at this point in time, married his girlfriend from that comic book. Yeah, in Barry's continuity, Flash Comics did exist. Oh, and something interesting, though, Gardner Fox throws in his own Easter egg, where he referenced that Gardner Fox wrote the Jay Garrick stories, and the comic was discontinued in 1949, which was definitely true with the story The Rival. And in this story, well, there's a series of crimes going about, and before that, Barry basically sort of tells Jay's origin story, which was told classically in Flash Comics #1, which they do put in here, along with Barry's origin story from Showcase #5. Yeah, and they're both surprised that he's actually, now he comes to first as Barry Allen himself, then he puts on his Flash costume, and bam, everybody's shocked, and then they go fight some crime, and they take on 3 criminals. They team up to solve some crimes, which they're caused by these 3 characters. Who are these 3? Now, those of you fans of the James Robinson Starman series, you might recognize this guy. That's the Shade. The one in the middle, that is the Fiddler. Yes, he's a Golden Age Flash villain. And the balding man, the guy who's balding, that's the Thinker. Now, someone asks me, why the heck is he called the Thinker? Well, he wears a thinking cap and he manipulates you mentally. The Fiddler is a guy basically who's known for using a fiddle to commit crimes, and the Shade uses dark powers. Yeah, he's actually the only one of the 3 actually who has actual powers. And they commit various crimes, like stealing various things. I don't want to spoil the entire story. all I gotta say is this story is just pure awesomeness at its finest, and it's a great story to read. And the Shade actually fights Jay Garrick and Flash twice in here. They also fight him in, I think the last one too. Yeah, they also fight him in issue 151, where, yeah, they fight him in 151. Yeah, they actually fight the guy twice. Though this time he's on his own, and that story is referenced. As for the other two, they're never seeing this book ever again. Now, when they team up again in issue 129, the team would take on two of Barry's own villains. The original Trickster, James Jesse, and Leonard Snart, Captain Cold. Yeah, Jay comes to Earth 1, and just hangs out with Barry and just helps him solve some crimes. It's a really good story. And of course, they also get flashbacks to various JSAers. Like they mentioned the Golden Age Wonder Woman, Al Pritt, the original Atom. This is Carter Hall, the original Hawkman. Alan Scott, the Green Lantern. Dr. Midnight, I believe that's the original one. Let's see, I'm just trying to take a look here. Yeah, it's the original. I'm trying to remember his name. Where are you? His real name is Charles McAnther. Yeah, that's his real name. We also have Diana Drake Lance, the Black Canary, who appears a few times in this big thing. And this is the key. I am not kidding. That's really his name. Yeah, he's an old Golden Age villain. Now, Joan, at this point, since the fact that she was in her 20s, she's probably in her 40s, I'd say, but she looks very stunning. I got to praise Carmen Infantino for doing that. So Jay Perry's Barry visits on Earth 2, and they just team up to take on Captain Cold and Trickster and win. Yep, it's a really interesting story. 37, they team up to take on Vandal Savage. That's what he looks like at this point. Not some big hulking villain like he's known depicted today. And simply put, he is here just to avenge his previous defeat that happened in All-Star Comics. Yeah, it's a really good story. I'll probably go more detail of it if I decide to do a retrospective on The Flash, which, come take with straight, yeah, I'll probably think of doing that. Yeah. Also, the Vandal Savage story 137 does kind of help set up the team-ups that happen between the Justice League and the JSA that happen over the course of the next 20 years. Yeah, it's sort of like a backdoor pilot Gardner Fox does. Alright. Next we have Showcase 55, excuse me. Now in these two Showcase issues, you have Dr. Fate and Hourman just teaming up, being sort of a dynamic duo, and they take on various threats. Sorry about that. It's my alarm. They take on, first in issue 55, they take on Solomon Grundy with the help of the original Green Lantern Alan Scott, which makes sense, and they make reference to his previous appearance in the Golden Age where he was sent to space, and at the end of the story, he gets defeated by the three heroes, and he's sent into Earth's orbit, or apparently to keep an eye on him. And the second one, in Showcase 56, you have the debut of a new Psycho Pirate. Now, the original one dies in this very story. Yeah, they actually give also. I should also mention this book also gives like origin stories of the heroes that are in here. They put it between the two Showcase issues. Let's see here. I'm trying to find the page here. Now, the guy's real name, the original Psycho Pirate, his real name is Charlie Halstead. That's his real name. And he only fought the JSA twice, and he lost both times. Those two times happened in the story The Plunder of the Psycho Pirate in All-Star Comics number 23 and Return of Psycho Pirate in issue 32. But after those two times, he disappeared and reappeared in this story where he died, appearing in a brief cameo. Now, there is I'll show you the brief cameo, what he looks like in here. You're thinking, yeah, this guy, this is the original Psycho Pirate. And this guy here is the new one. His real name is Roger something. Let's see if I can find his name here. Yeah, his real name is Roger. Trying to find the actual page here. Roger something. His real name is trying to find his name here. It's quite odd to find out exactly his real name. But I know his first name is Roger. Yes, first name is Roger. I can't find his real name, but this Psycho Pirate will be still around to this very day. Heck, he even showed up recently in the pages of Batman by Tom King and David Finch. Yeah, this guy is just a really cool villain. And heck, he even showed up in Grant Morrison's Animal-Man. And this story is just really great. Yeah, in the story, it's just Rex Taylor's girlfriend, who he later gets engaged to at the end of the story. She gets set up for stealing a bunch of Medusa masks, and it turns out it's all done by the Psycho Pirate. And they give him like various things to be afraid of. But it's a classic story to read, and I highly recommend reading this trade. Now, the Green Lantern story is the first time that Alan Scott and Hal Jordan team up for a story, and they take on a guy named Crota. Yeah, Crota. Of course, the story starts out with also seeing appearance by Dobby Diggles. Basically, he's kind of like his sidekick in a way, but he's more like he's there. He was there for comic relief from the stories I read. Okay, now this is Crota. He is one of the Guardians. Now, unlike the normal Guardians, where they're very short, he's known to be very tall, and he's also the guy who designed the Manhunters. Yeah, they retconned it years later that he was the one who designed the Manhunters. And in case you're wondering, he is dead. Yep, he got killed during I'm trying to think of it. He got killed off during the War of the Green Lanterns crossover. I think Hal Jordan killed him. Yeah, Hal Jordan killed him. I don't have a problem with Hal killing him because he's military and he's in the Air Force, so I accept that perfectly fine. Alan Scott killing? No, he's an engineer. And plus he's the president of his own company. Yeah, just trying to deal with various things, but it's a really classic story to read. Alright, next up is I'm just sort of recapping, summarize what happens in this book. We have also Brave and Bold 61, which you have Starman, who is Ted Knight, who's the original Starman, teamed up with the original Black Canary, Diana, Drake, Lance. Also, Robertson retconned after this issue and the following one that these two had an affair. I'm not kidding. They had an affair after one of these two adventures. In this first one, they teamed up to take on the Mist. Yeah, the Mist. A guy who, yeah, he's no enemy of Ted Knight. And I've read his entire feature comics. He only fought him once. And at this point in time, this is the first time since the 40s this guy has shown up. So my guess he must have adventures with him off panel. Now, if you want to know exactly what now, they also throw in here Black Canary's husband, Larry Lance. Yeah, he's in here as well. This is what the Mist looks like when he's in Mist form. Yeah. And it's a very neat, it's a very awesome story to read. Seeing two Golden Age heroes team up to take on an old Golden Age villain, like the Mist, who Robertson had killed off during the end of his run for Starman. Now, this is what, like in the story, like his original story, basically when he's not in his Mist form, he looks like an old man. And I keep thinking though, how long does he stay an old man for? This guy has a daughter, for crying out loud. This guy has 2 kids, and yet this guy remains old for like 40 years. I am not kidding about that. Yeah, and then you have the Hourman story, and they also have the origin of the Black Canary. Now, all the stories in here are classic stories to read. If you're interested in getting into the JSA heroes and seeing them team up in the Silver Age, beyond the Golden Age because DC has not done a lot of collecting when it comes to those stuff. But as for the Silver Age stuff, when they're not appearing with in the Justice League team-ups, this is a book for you. Pick up this book and the whole lot one. I haven't had a chance to read the second book yet, but this book is just pure awesomeness at its finest. And I give this book a 10 out of 10. Why? Because all the stories in here are classic and awesome. Didn't hate any one of these stories. They're all really good. Alright, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which will be episode 295 and episode 226. Till then, see you there. Bye.